Hey there, everyone. It was a little over a year ago that I reviewed the Rotary Regent, a watch that was heavily inspired by Gerald Genta designs, most notably the Patek Philippe Nautilus. It wasn't an exact copy and it had some other Genta designs mixed in there, and it came in two different options, a standard dial or a skeleton dial, and it was offered on a bracelet or leather strap. Sometime after that, a quartz chronograph model was also released. Now, those models, especially the standard dial, were more business or dress orientated. But now they have a special edition, and it's an all black PVD plated watch. Well, three of them are anyway, more about that shortly. Has some color on the dial that matches the back of the strap, and it definitely gives it more of a sporty or casual look. Now, not much has changed on this model. This is really, well, it's kind of a color change, kind of not, but it's kind of the same. Let me explain. The first Regent used a Miyota 821A hacking movement, and this one uses a Miyota 8217, which has the 24-hour counter at 9. It's basically the same movement, this one just has an added complication. The case, the crown, the case back, it stays exactly the same, except now this is available for the first time in a black PVD case, and you get some fun color accents on the dial. So let me break it down for you. There are three black PVD models and one stainless model. They all come on a real leather but faux alligator black strap, and the backs of the straps have a color that corresponds to the dial colors, which would be green in this model, and there is also a yellow and a red. The lone non-plated model is only available with the yellow accents, and it says on the website that the black PVD models are online exclusives, meaning you will only be able to buy them at the Rotary website, which leaves only one stainless yellow model available for any retailers, which is an odd choice, unless they'll have more of the colors being added at a later date. On screen, you'll see all the specs, and like I said, dimensions are the same. It's still that Miyota 8200 series movement, though these are the newer ones that do hack, which makes this movement slightly more palatable. And of course, you can see the movement through the exhibition window. Let me just get this out of the way. If you've seen any of my videos, you probably know I generally have a distaste for watches that show off an inexpensive movement. They're undecorated, they're not attractive in my opinion, and they detract from the watch instead of adding to it. It's like the new Ford Broncos. Those engines are absolutely a mess. It's a massive amount of crossed hoses and tubes, and if any engine needed an engine cover, it was the new Bronco. Same here. I would have much preferred a solid caseback. It would have completed the look much more with an all-black caseback, or at the very least, make the rotor black on the movement, put a gray or tinted crystal over it. As a matter of fact, a black rotor with a green tinted crystal would have made this look a lot better. I chose the green accented model, which the dial accents are more a lime green than the back of the strap, which is definitely more fluorescent green, and you only get that pop of color in a few places. The special edition text, the second hand, and the 24-hour indicator. It's just enough to stand out, and I have waffled back and forth on whether it could use more, like a green colored minute hand, but this is not a dive watch, and with a small watch and a small dial, I think it's enough to not overwhelm it or make it look gimmicky. The case design is unchanged, and you still get the same contrast of high polished and brushed finishes, but the black PVD coating does look a little tacky on the high polished areas. Where the vertical brushing is on the top of the case, the front of the lugs, and the bezel area, it all looks good, and it has that dark charcoal appearance. But on the sides of the case, it's like wet tar looking, and it gives it a cheap watch vibe, at least in my opinion. I'm not sure if it's because of how it was applied or polished, or how much of the coating they applied to it, but that's my take on it. One more thing about the case, and that is the spring bar drilled lug situation. Because of the integrated strap, the metal piece that attaches to the strap is essentially a part of the strap, so you need a way to access the spring bars if you want to change it to another strap, even though you would only be doing this with another rotary strap, and so far there is no black PVD bracelet option. But my gripe here is not the integrated strap, but the spring bars themselves. How much would it have really cost to black PVD the spring bars as well, so you don't see the steel spring bars peeking out of the drilled holes. The crown is still not screw down. Again, this is not a dive watch, and I haven't really had any instances where the crown was catching on anything. It's pretty solid, and with the size of the watch, I don't think it will ever be an issue. The crown is still not signed though, and I would have thought even an SE for special edition on the crown would have been cool, but nope, still blank. Then we get to the strap, and I have to say, overall, I really like this strap. I put this watch on the day it arrived and wore it out that night, and the break-in period was pretty quick. It's not one of those very cheap fake alligator straps. It's pretty pliable, and it looks and feels great on the wrist. The buckle is pretty standard. It's coated though, and then we get to the back. The color of the leather doesn't exactly match the color on the dial. I imagine that can be pretty difficult to do with two different materials, but I do like it. It is something you only will really see unless you take the watch off for others to look at, but I feel the strap could use something else. I thought about green stitching, and while it would have added more like a sporty or fun look, but then I thought, maybe that would be too much. But how about some green leather keepers? Yes, the same green used on the back, but used on the two keepers, just to give that extra pop and a little something else to match that dial that others would see as well. Now, for reference, my wrist is 7.5 inches, and I have to tell you about this comment that I just received on the original Regent video I did, that I legit received the same day I am writing the script for this video. They asked if I was a giant, and why does the watch look so small on my wrist? Now, I replied to him, but allow me to reiterate. No, I'm not a giant. Furthest thing from it, furthest thing from being a massive guy. I'm about 6 foot tall, and while I am not as trim as I once was, aging, I wouldn't consider myself a large gentleman. The lume is pretty good as well, and if it is glowing while you are not in a completely dark environment, you get the cool look of the green lume and the green on the dial. It's kind of just fun to admire. You know, one of those things only the geeks inside of us really notice. Now, again, it's not a dive watch. I keep saying that. I don't know why I keep saying that, but with the little area that is actually there to apply the Super Luminova, Rotary did a pretty good job applying it to the applied markers and hands, and it's much better than a lot of other watches like in this category. So yeah, this is really just another colorway for the Regent lineup, but I do think this is a fun watch, and I really like this green one especially. When it comes to the price, it's not bad, but that movement does hold it back. I say look to find it at the best price or when it's on sale or get a coupon code or a discount or whatever. Now, I doubt we'll ever see it, but I would love a titanium version, either fully brushed or blasted, or an all black matte and with a rubber strap. Add in dials like this, or some colorful dials, or even a standard black for that sporty stealth look, but that would be a fun watch. Now, those are just ideas rolling around in my head, but there it is. But I want to hear from you, though. I want to hear your thoughts. Head to the comments and let me know what you think of this Rotary Regent and if it's for you or this one's a big pass. You can find Watch Report on social media. It's at Watch Report, and we are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notifications if you already haven't. This is Don Evans from Watch Report. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.